So, what is going on, guys? Jeremy taking a look at the Transformers Movie 1 Deluxe Class Cliffjumper and Bumblebee. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. So, Cliffjumper is a repaint of Bumblebee, of the 2007 Camaro version, not the old clunker one. So, this is the 2007 version. Now, you could tell because the head sculpt is it's not very good. This one here, though, is a later release one that came in like a 3-pack. And it came with Animated in Universe. Or is it Universe? I think, or is it Classics? The one that kind of turns that little, like, sports hatchback. It has a little jet ski accessory. I might review that someday soon as well, because I don't think I ever did take a look at it. But it came in like a 3-pack with that, and yeah, I just kind of have them ever since. And the unique thing is that it had the Battle Mask head, which I fixed. Yeah, so this decapitated Bumblebee belongs to the Revenge of the Fallen version of this mold, where they gave a good head sculpt, but the arm's a gun. This one's just better, so I just ripped the head off it, and I realized the head still works, because it's the exact same mold. But these two are pretty interesting. The only issue is I only have one gun. I own 2 of these, no clue where the other one is, and this is Cliffjumper's gun, and you could tell it's Cliffjumper's gun only because of how dark the plastic is. Cliffjumper's a dark gray compared to Bumblebee's light gray, so it is Cliffjumper's by technicality. And as far as these figures go, they look pretty cool, I think. I actually do like this mold a lot. Now, it might be just the nostalgia of it, but I do like this mold. I think it's a pretty good Bumblebee mold. It's not the best movie Bumblebee. Obviously, there's a lot more. Even the newer ones are better. One of the main issues I have with this mold is the panels on the arms. They really are unsightly. Like, they just are always there. They're always, like, either in the way or they have to be splayed out. Like, I have them on Bumblebee right now. It's just, they're not the best. Like, they're really not the best. Another thing that this figure has is a lot of automorph, which isn't a bad thing until you realize how old these guys are. They still work fine. But if you're looking at Cliffjumper's chest, you probably are seeing that stress mark. Like, it's really bright. You can see it right there. And that's because he got stuck one time. Yeah, these figures are pretty solid, though. And Bumblebee has a lot more paint than Cliffjumper, as you can kind of tell. But I guess they didn't need to paint those red, because he's red, I guess. I don't know. And, I mean, as far as it goes, Cliffjumper, I probably played with more out of the 2 of these. Cliffjumper's like a childhood item. So I kind of like him more. It's one of those things where it's like, I love Cliffjumper more because I just have more memories with him, and he's such a random one. But, like, they both have very similar things going. They have different stripe patterns. So you can see Cliffjumper has the full silver stripe, or he still has the little itty-bitty black stripes. And then, like I mentioned, a couple other things, like the back being painted a bit more. But one thing you're probably noticing is the light blue paint on Cliffjumper, which is the... Is it Energon line? I forget what that's called. It's the Allspark Power line. That's what it is. The Allspark Power. So he's in that line, I guess. It's like a tiny bit of blue. It's so insignificant. It's barely noticeable. Like, it just looks like it's supposed to be there at that point. Now, one thing I'm going to do with this Bumblebee, just to do it, just so I could appease people and not have a Frankenstein here. It's Frankenstein time. Yeah, that head's way too big for the body, but I don't really care, because it looks better. It looks way better, because comparing the head sculpt between the old and the movie 1 and Revenge of the Fallen. One's based off concepts. We know that this is based off concepts. Looking at that thing looks like a bug full on. It's not that it's bad, it's just it's concept heads. You already know. So it kind of works for Cliffjumper to be unique looking, I guess. Because it looks nothing like what Bumblebee is supposed to look like. See, this head sculpt's really nice. Like, this is a really well-sculpted head. Like, it is really well-sculpted. Like, it looks like Bumblebee. Like, it's crazy. This one here, I do like. I do like the little unmasked head, just to get that in there, too, to show it. That one also has the Autobot logo. This one doesn't, which is kind of a shame, because it's massive, so you'd think they could have got it in there somewhere. But, hey... There's the unmasked, or the battle masked head. I like this one. I'm not going to lose it. I'm probably just going to put it on the other body, for being honest. But, I mean, these two in robot mode do look good. Their articulation's also quite good. Ball joint in the head for the both of them. His is a bit more restricted, just because the head's bigger. Forward and back, elbow joint, swivel, and he does have a ball joint in the wrist, so there's a lot of movability there. We do have a waist swivel. forward and back, outward and knee joint, and a bit of foot tiltage going on here, but not inward, just forward and back. So that is the robot mode of the Bumblebee brothers here. So let's get into the transformation. So as far as the transformation goes, oh, I actually didn't show off the accessory first. Hold up, I forgot something. Accessory. It is the gun from the movie, but it opens up and has sword in it. It's cool. I like it. And it can either fully extended or, like, it's supposed to do this, I guess. But, like, I think the fully extended one works better. You know? So that's cool. Nice little weapon. Does have weapon storage, and he'll get the weapon storage because it's his gun. Hate playing favorites here, but I'm playing favorites. So, as far as the transformation goes, it's kind of weird. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of automorph in this thing. So, you're going to want to come up here and kind of start it off with the chest area. And if you look in the back, you can kind of see all of the cogs and how everything goes. And as you can see, it occasionally will get stuck. Like, it'll outright get stuck at a point. It just gets stuck. And the arms, they just kind of go over on top of the windshield like that. Pretty easy peasy. Rotate the doors around like so. And that is the front end, and the rest is going to be handled by Bumblebee. Alright, and now for Bumblebee. And the way that Bumblebee works in the legs is, again, with automorph. No one thing I gotta mention about Bumblebee. Up here, teeth are broken and very unaligned. It took me a good couple minutes to get that to even go, but yeah, it was a fun time. As far as the legs work, though, they're a lot easier. You just kind of scrunch them, and then you gotta make sure you move the hip part. And that's it. Literally, yes, that's the legs. If you want to store the weapon, there is holes there and there, so it's on both sides of the legs, and it just kind of pegs into the slot. So it does go there. I'll show it on Cliff Jumper in a second here once we're done. Now, one thing that is kind of terrible without the weapon is these windows. They like to kind of fall in without it, which kind of sucks. And then peg your doors on. Try to get the hood to line up as good as I can, because it is, like I said, there's a bunch of teeth that are just ripped off of it. But there is Bumblebee in his Camaro mode, and there is Cliff Jumper in his Camaro mode. One's a little droopier than the other in the front, but that's, like I said, kind of unavoidable. Like, it just doesn't happen. One's also way more painted, though, and that would be Bumblebee. He has a couple scuffages on him, of like red and blue, but he has Camaro, and it's in silver. They got the Chevy logo, they got the license plate, they got the exhaust, the bumper, the rear tail lights, the headlights. Like, they went all in. They even got the windshield wipers on this guy. And the gas, like, what? They actually painted this guy. Also, I didn't really mention it in the robot mode, but they also painted the license plate there, which is kind of crazy. They, like, went all out for this Bumblebee. Like, this one's way well painted. The only issue I have, though, like I said with him, is this doesn't like to sit. But Cliff Jumper does. Cliff Jumper's completely fine. There's that weapon I mentioned. There's how it stores just between the legs. And this is one of those controversies with this mold. It's this Bumblebee laying down. But he can technically transform from the car mode and then stand up, which is a cool thing. There's very minor things other than the color as well. Like I said, the stripes are different. Cliff Jumper's doesn't continue to the back. It just stops at the front. He also has a different window color. His is a lot more of a light blue, while his is a nice dark. I mean, these two car modes are really good, especially Bumblebee's. It just sucks that mine has the hood not working correctly. It just really sucks. Actually, I actually just got it to sit flush there. I got it to sit flush. We're good. It's not ruined. I repeat, Bumblebee is good again. But yeah, car mode just looks great. It does roll, kind of. It's a bit hindered by the feet. See, the rear wheels will, but the front won't. Cliff Jumper rolls, though. Weirdly enough. I don't know why he rolls and Bumblebee doesn't. But hey. What are you gonna do? So let's just get into my overall thoughts on these two. And as far as my overall thoughts go on these two, I think that these are very good figures. As far as it goes, this was a really good one for the longest time. Like, this was the one I liked the most. It still is a really good one. I mean, finding that one I got at Value Village, it was just like the Revenge of the Fallen version. Because I don't know what it was at Revenge of the Fallen, but they just really loved recycling the toys. Because though I didn't pull it out, but the only thing different on it is the like, this arm is a gun. It has a missile, but the gun's missing on the one I got. And now to see Bumblebee not work, and that's not because of the head, by the way. He just doesn't work. One thing I actually forgot to mention he's missing, and I'm sure if anyone owns this figure, you might have noticed, is the shoulders. He's supposed to have little shoulder pads. Him and Cliff Jumper both are supposed to have them. But mine have disappeared. And by disappeared, I mean they vanished long ago, and I can occasionally find one. So I found a yellow one and a red one, but I've never found both. I've never had both yellow and red at the same time. So that's kind of fun. But I mean, as far as both these figures go, I'm not going to give them a different grade. They're both pretty much the same thing. They only have one minor difference, which is the head sculpt. And I guess broken automorph. But that could happen to anyone. That could happen to Cliff Jumper too. It really could. Cliff Jumper's automorph, I'm just lucky, actually works good. Like, his doesn't do anything particularly bad. You can see his chest even sits a lot more flush than Bumblebee. Because like I said, that automorph is horrendous. And getting the chest fixed to where it was initially is what completely broke it. It took me like 5 minutes to even get it unstuck so I could transform him correctly into the Camaro form, because it just wouldn't go. But as far as they go, I think they're good. They're not the best Bumblebees ever, but I'm going to give them both a 4. I like it. They have a good car mode. The robot mode's good. The transformation is fun for when it works, that is. Cliff Jumper is really fun. Bumblebee, not so much. But that's another thing. But this has been a review of Transformers Movie 1, Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper. This has been Eilt Elite, signing out.